That's right, I did not forget about this one, the Moto Edge Plus, Motorola's flagship smartphone for this year. I did bring it out for a recent trip for mainly one specific reason. This is a Verizon phone, and thus their coverage tends to be a little bit better in more remote areas like the ones that I was going to be in. That did turn out to be mostly the case, but along the way I actually found myself really enjoying using this phone on the daily. So I'm going to give you a few of those thoughts as we go along during this trip up to Seattle, well, near Seattle, in a place called Skagit Valley. Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? This is the Moto Edge Plus, and a look at some colorful tulips and delicious food seen through its eyes. Of course, I'm talking about these cameras. For more camera tests like this, consider subscribing to my channel. Let me know your thoughts by hitting the like button and by sounding off in the comments. Moto keeps chugging along with their various smartphones, releasing a slew of affordable offerings alongside the flagship in the Edge. And this is definitely a flagship smartphone. You get the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 in here, powering a high refresh rate screen that actually looks pretty great no matter what you're doing for work or play. And of course, that processor also helps you get that high-speed 5G via Verizon networks, even if you might not be in an area that gets that top-tier millimeter wave connectivity. Personally, I had no issues with the daily use of this phone. I actually particularly enjoyed how the software looked. It's a highly customizable skin, but in particular, I picked this font here that made everything feel really clean. And as expected from Moto, this version of Android tries to be mostly stock, but there are plenty of gestures and actions and customizations that are available for extended utility. Now, admittedly, Moto's gestures did not become necessities in my usage, as the fundamental Android abilities just kept me content. Watching media on the go was as good as needed, especially with that high refresh rate option available, and the occasional Pokemon Unite match was easy because of the Verizon reliable connection, even out in the tulip fields. So that's just a quick overview of my daily usage of the Moto Edge Plus here, but I do have one more thing to show you, and it is the sponsor of this video. Speaking of fun viewing experiences, I have been happy to check out a 4K laser projector courtesy of Nebula by Anker, who are sponsoring this portion of the video. Laser projectors normally cost quite a lot, but Anker Nebula have outfitted the Cosmos Laser 4K with pretty much everything you'd need for an enjoyable theater-like experience. I actually have it set up right over here in the living area of my office. The unit itself is pretty substantial for the amount of powerful light it emits, but it's quite portable thanks to the handle that's up top and the 1/4-20 thread that's on the bottom, which lets you mount it wherever you need it. But a laser projector at 4K resolution is the biggest deal here. Laser projectors are very efficient light sources, outputting super bright results while keeping the energy cost balanced. And since the laser projection is only putting out what is needed for each detail and color as opposed to, let's say, one large white light image, the viewing experience is particularly satisfying. The Cosmos Laser 4K pumps out up to 2400 lumens and can get you up to a 150-inch image, which can actually be viewed even when there's plenty of ambient light around. With this portable screen that I decided to pair with the Cosmos, I've been enjoying a 95-inch display, and the unit is an all-in-one solution. It has auto keystone, autofocus, and auto screen fitting that are all available to take the guesswork out of customizing the image. The speaker array on the unit includes 2 full-range units and 2 tweeters, so that the sound experience can actually come right from the projector itself, and thanks to a software core that goes right into the back, the full Android TV experience lets you access all the streaming services and apps that you could want. A portable and powerful laser projector like this, at even 1080p resolution, would cost thousands of dollars, but the Anker Nebula Cosmos Laser 4K is one of the most affordable products of its kind at $21.99. Check out this 4K laser projector for yourself in the link I have in the description and down in the comments. Thanks again to Anker Nebula for letting me try out the Cosmos Laser 4K and for sponsoring this portion of the video. Okay, finally, let's get to the cameras. As per usual, this is not a super comprehensive test of every little mode and setting in the cameras. Instead, this is going to be a look at the performance of the camera system in a more general sense via mostly a vlogging scenario. It should be a good look at what the camera can do in these practical situations. Get all kinds of color today here in the tulip fields. This one in particular is in Vergara. All of this is up in the Skagit Valley, like about an hour and a half north of Seattle. Now, while the performance and software experiences might be pretty robust, I mean, you can see there are so many capabilities here, there might be a few things that will raise your eyebrows immediately when you're looking at the spec sheet. I mean, first thing is that Moto opted out of a zoom lens here, sticking mainly to the 50 megapixel wide and ultra wide options that are complemented by a macro shooter. Yep, we're back to the whole macro thing with smartphone cameras, but I guess in a situation like looking at flowers is actually something nice to have. Here's one thing I did find odd though. The ultra wide angle camera, despite being a 50 megapixel sensor, is not allowed or just can't do 4K video. Now, I might have my specific needs when it comes to smartphones for making videos, but having 4K on every possible rear camera still feels like something that I kind of take for granted, and when it's gone, I really notice it. Subjective quality aside, it just knocks off a few points on the usability front when you have to switch back and forth between lenses and resolutions and the viewfinder whenever you want to do 4K, and it only lets you do it from the main sensor. And then meanwhile, the front-facing camera is going above and beyond. This is a 60 megapixel resolution camera here with 4K video recording available, as it shows right here. I'll give it up to this camera specifically for providing some really great selfies, but when the angle is a little too tight, you might just end up sharing the spotlight with basically no one else. Here's a look at the front-facing camera, which I enjoy having the 4K, even though it's a pretty tight frame. Like it's quite a tight frame. It's a little hard to get that classic vlogging look. But 4K on the front is nice, even if you don't really get 4K on the rear with the wide-angle camera, which is one of those give-and-take situations, I gotta say it again. With a lot of colorful subjects all around with these tulips, it was worth trying out the spot color mode, which isolates a color and shade of your choosing. It is novel, but it's not super accurate to what subjects you might actually have in mind. Still, worth trying and was kind of fun. Probably one of the best times to use the dual capture mode. I mean, look at this sea of color that's in front of me. And of course, front camera is also recording. I'm here in the corner as well, but we're using the wide angle camera and getting a nice look at the installation that's here. This is one of the gardens, one of the many gardens that has one of many varieties of tulips and flowers here at Rosengarten. There were some indoor scenes in my examples that you'll see in this video, but for some real low light shots, I usually just turn out the lights here in the studio. In all honesty, I didn't, or actually don't, go out too often, let's say in the dead of night, and when I am out for like a bite or a drink in the evening, smartphone cameras can actually handle things pretty well in whatever light is available in many establishments. But in case you really need that night mode to add what is completely missing, here are a few examples. Time for a really epic dinner. We are here at a place called Skull. I don't know if you can really see it around here. But yeah, really awesome Nordic food that's here. And they do things called Viking feasts. The Moto Edge Plus marks another stop on the flagship line for the brand, and they did a lot of things right to make it a great option for everyday use. Considering its price though, it seems Moto was just prioritizing mainly the performance and speed aspects, while the cameras were kind of an exercise in trade-offs. If you're a serious creative, these cameras can provide some fun options, but the fundamentals are a bit of a mixed bag. You have high-powered sensors, but a lack of unified high-powered settings. I'd say the cameras will be just fine for the typical users who are more concerned with expansive and speedy internet thanks to Verizon, but that is something you can say about the other carriers more often these days. Still, reliable daily performance is provided by this hardware. Oh, it's closed? Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. I was really hoping to see them. All in all though, this is another year where the cameras are not going to give this Moto the edge compared to plenty of its competitors that happen to be in the same general price range. For more camera tests and vlogs done with smartphones, make sure you subscribe to my channel. From there though, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.